Hey all, welcome back to Fire and Water Cooking. I am Darren, of course, and today I'm going to do something I haven't done before, something a little different. You've probably seen these on YouTube here in the last couple months. People were doing a lot of these Frenched beef shanks. They also call them Thor's hammer. Well, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it a little bit different than you've probably seen it. We're going to sous vide cook this for a long time, then we're going to finish it on the smoker. We're going to cook it medium rare, which you probably don't see a lot with these, so we're going to make it nice and tender as well. I'll be right back, show you how we're going to do this cook.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from Fire and Water.
All right, all, like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a different cook than what you've probably seen these. I'm sure if you watched any other barbecue videos in the last couple months, you've seen a lot of people cook these. I call them the Thor's hammer. It's just a shank, a beef shank that's cut pretty big, and it's French, so you got a little bit of a bone sticking out, so you can hold it like this if you wanted to. It's just, I love these trends that come up on YouTube and all the other barbecue areas and cooking, because it's just fun to try something different. So this is going to be a little bit different than what you probably have seen on other videos, because normally you have to cook this well done, braise it, or cook it really long, just like you would a brisket or a pork butt, and you got to cook it well done. You got to cook it over 200 degrees internal temperature, which means, you know, you cook a lot of the juices and everything out of it. Usually still, you know, to make it tender, that's what you got to do when you're cooking conventional temperatures, you know, on a smoker or an oven, or even on the stove top when you're braising. You got to cook it to get to a really, really high temperature, and the meat's got to be well done for it to get medium rare. But with sous vide, just like we would have done before with briskets, beef ribs, tri-tips, you know, every kind of tough red meat we've used on, even with tough pork like pork butt. We use a sous vide so that we can cook it at a lower temperature for a longer period of time in a vacuum packed bag where all the juices stay in there, and we can cook it at a medium rare temperature. So all you really need is your sous vide bath with a circulator, and cook it with a little bit of patience, because even when you cook this conventionally, it takes a long time. So it'll take you 6 to 8 hours to cook this, to get it tender and cooking it well done. Now this is going to take 48 hours in the sous vide bath, but the good thing about that is when you cook something like this long time sous vide, you don't need to keep checking on it and making sure your temperature's right or anything like that. You just set it for 134 degrees, which I got here. You set it for 48 hours timer, and once that 48 hours is done, you take it out of the water bath, and then you finish it however way you want. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this out of the bag, season it up, vacuum seal it up again with seasoning in there. We're going to sous vide it at 134 degrees at, like I said, that's medium rare temperature for 48 hours. So it's now Friday afternoon. We're going to come back Sunday afternoon and finish this for Sunday dinner. Then we're going to take it out, season it up again, and put it on a smoker for about an hour or 2 hours to get some smoke to it, finish it up, get that Maillard reaction, nice and dark color, and get some more flavors to it. And that's how we're going to finish it. So let me go ahead. I'm going to get this out of this bag here. Like I said, this came from Porter Road Meats, and you can find a link below to Porter Road. I'm going to go ahead and get this out. I'll be right back while we season this up. All right, guys, so I got it out of the bag, and this is how I'm going to actually put it in the chamber sealer bag for when I sous vide it. And when I'm going to set it in the bath, I'm going to set it with the bone kind of sticking up to the top like this, because I want that marrow to stay in there. It's not going to render a whole lot since we're cooking it at 134, so we should have a pretty good amount of marrow left in this bone. So today I'm going to season up the Thor's hammer, as people call it, or beef shank, with a little bit of my Fire and Water Cooking black garlic and coffee seasoning, and some all-purpose black garlic seasoning. We're going to do a little bit of both of these, kind of give it a little bit of, my temperature's up to temp on the sous vide bath. So we're just going to give it a little bit of that coffee hit. It's got a little bit of cayenne pepper and stuff in here, and a little bit more of that black garlic and pepper and kosher salt here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a nice coat. We're going to season this up again after we take it out of the sous vide bath in 48 hours. So this is just so the salt can penetrate and brine this meat. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the bag, put it in the vacuum chamber. You don't need to see all that. Then I'll come back when we're sticking it in the sous vide bath. I'll be back, guys. All right, guys, I got this ready, and as you can see, it's all vacuum sealed, really, really tight. Got my bone part here, the exposed part of the French is going to be sticking straight up. I'm hoping it will cover it. If not, I can put a little, I just need just a little bit more water in here. In 48 hours, we'll come back and take this out and take a look at it and get some smoke to it, and we'll serve it up Sunday night for dinner. So it's right at 134. It's in there cooking. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in 48 hours. All right, guys, 48 hours later, like I said, it is now Sunday afternoon, and it's about 2.5, 3 hours before I want to eat. So what I'm going to do now, this says I got about 40 minutes or 50 minutes left on the timer on the sous vide. Since we cooked it so long, I'm not going to worry about it, so it doesn't really have to be exact as far as when you're doing a really long cook like this. Since we're going to smoke it a little bit after, I'm not too worried about being short on the time for a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and take this out, and I do have an ice bath here, and what I'm going to do, just like I would if I was doing a brisket or a pork butt or beef ribs, and if I was cooking them, going on the smoker after, we're going to put them in this ice bath because I want to bring the temperature, internal temperature, back down to, around 50 degrees or 40 degrees again, so that we have more time on the smoker to develop a good bark, get that smoke flavor in there, and really get some more flavors into the meat without overcooking it. So we're still going to be able to cook this and be at medium rare, 134 degrees with no problem. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a little while, guys. I'll be back when we're ready to take it out, re-season it, and put it on the smoker. All right, guys, so it's been in here a good 30, 40 minutes. My Rectech pellet grill is up to 250. That's where I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this out. Yeah, it's chilled all the way down. We're gonna put a thermometer in it anyway. We're gonna monitor the internal temp with the one from Rectech, so we can make sure it doesn't go over my 134. I'm going to be careful taking this out of the bag because I want to save these juices, and I also don't want it to fall apart. So we're going to go ahead and save these. Put them right over here and try not for them to spill. So if you look at that, guys, you can see, I'll get you a little closer. If you can't see, it's you can see all the how juicy that looks right now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit more seasoning. I'm going to leave all this juice and stuff on there because I want it to attract smoke. So when we sous vide and smoke, the best thing you can do, instead of when you're doing a steak, usually if you're doing a steak or something and you want to sear it, you dry it off really good. But with this, with smoking, you want it to be wet because that smoke is going to stick to the surface because it's wet. So I'm going to put just a little bit more seasoning on here, my little bit of my black garlic and coffee. And that's it, guys. We're going to go ahead and put it on the smoker and smoke this until it gets right back up to the 134 or close enough. Probably when it starts getting over 130, we'll kind of keep a real close eye on it and try to pull it right before it hits 134 degrees. All right, I'll be back when I'm putting it on the smoker. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and I'm also going to put the thermometer in from the Rectech so that we can measure the internal temp so we don't overcook it. Right now it's about 70 degrees. All right, guys, it's up to about 127 degrees internal, and I have hit it a couple times, spritzed it. Just a little bit of water just to kind of get a little bit more of that smoke to adhere to this. Let me get a little closer up here so you guys can see what it's looking like. Check that out. What a nice looking crust on there. I'm going to close this back up and give it probably another 10 minutes or so we can get it right up to that 134. All right, guys, take a look at that. Thor's hammer, cooked sous vide, and then smoked. Still medium rare. Just turned 134 when I took it off. So we're going to go ahead and cut into this. You can see it's got a nice bark on there. That black garlic and coffee and the all-purpose black garlic did a really good job of color. The marrow is still in there, so we can kind of dig some of that out later. I'm going to go ahead and cut into this so you can see the doneness. Cut a good piece right here. You can see that. Still medium rare. Nice redness and pretty much all the way through, even though we've got a good bark on there. It didn't really overcook it, and you see it's steaming right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece right here. We left some of that connective tissue there, so it's probably going to still be just a little bit chewy, but take a look at that. The meat is really tender. Some of that connective tissue though, probably cut some of that off next time. But really good, guys. Wow. The thing I like about tougher cuts like this is they're really beefy flavor you can get. And sous vide and then mixing it with the smoker can make this so you could still make something really medium rare and get that medium rare flavor. You know, it's a different flavor profile that you get when you cook something at a lower temperature than when you cook it all the way. It leaves a lot more of that beefiness in there. I can tell you what, guys, this is really good. Check it out. You know, it's just a different way to make your Thor's hammer. I'm going to go ahead and get this sliced up for my family for dinner. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Hey, check out the Fire and Water Cooking book. It's on Amazon and anywhere you get books to show you how to do these sous vide and barbecue type cooks. It's in electronic form. You can get a hard copy and a soft copy, however you want it. Check out Fire and Water Cooking Edible Creations Seasonings and Sauces on Walmart.com and Amazon, and my website at fireandwatercooking.com. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again on the next Fire and Water Cooking video.